Hello, my name is Sam Starks. I use she, they pronouns, and I am in my last semester here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I am studying gender and women's studies, economics with a math concentration, and getting a minor in studio art. Today I am presenting my senior honors thesis in the Gender and Women's Studies department, Decolonizing Spatial Design with Modular Fashion, Building Sustainable Bodies and Building Sustainable Environments. Research questions. The first question I would like to introduce is, what is decolonization of design and why is it important? There's a screenshot on the slide from Easy Conley, a researcher, artist, and scholar from Portugal whose work focuses on decolonizing design. In the lecture, she explains design has become complicit in reproducing corporal segregation in society. It is the othering, the creation of binaries in design. Historically and currently, a majority of designers are white men, specifically architects and engineers. I have always been interested in the built environment, so buildings and how rooms are designed and how they dictate what bodies or identities can enter and which ones are excluded. It is often hard to think about how other people outside of the matrix of domination can impact the built environment. Therefore, I'm asking, what would it take to flip this hierarchy? Last spring, I started to think about modularity, which I define as a full piece being made out of multiple components, which can be changed, shifted, or rearranged in order to reach a new desired shape or function. Furthermore, what would this look like applied to fashion and clothing in order to allow the person to be self-designed and self-dressed? Initially, I thought opportunities for body inclusivity and sustainability, but I think also making it user-focused, a decolonizing method in design, could flip this hierarchy. Therefore, my final question is, can dressed bodies become a mobile space where an emphasis on dress self-design self-dressed bodies through modular fashion ultimately shape the built environment? Thesis. In my research, the importance of decolonizing design will be explored through rethinking technical clothing designs as a modular system to be expanded through a queer feminist lens focusing on inclusiveness for all body types. The application focused on the user becoming the everyday designer initiates a reverse relationship where there is potential to surpass being dictated by homogeneous built environments constructed by white men. In conclusion, fashion's opportunity to place decolonizing power into the user creates a sustainable method for all bodies while also intersecting with environmental sustainability through combating throwaway consumerism. Approach. What do I need to prove? First off, does it make sense that our bodies could change physical structures by what we choose to wear? Conceptual fashion shows, such as the one playing on the screen by the late Virgil Abloh titled Peculiar Contrast, Perfect Light, has a predominantly black cast wearing different pieces that reflect elements from a cowboy aesthetic and a businessman aesthetic, while famed poet Saul Williams recites, quote, take down the walls, deconstruct the narrative, unravel the mystery, make it up to me, make space for me, end quote. He walks through a space that looks like a meta office verse with luxurious green marble cut out for him to walk through. This is an example of a marginalized identity changing how the space looks through a new narrative of Black excellence featured through the clothes. It is as if he and Virgil are rewriting a racial timeline and entering a new dimension. I have similar feelings when choosing what I wear every day. It helps me become more confident in white spaces while simultaneously re-understanding my own identities. The clothes in our closet are 2D, 3D on our body, and enter a fourth dimension when performativity is added. This new fourth dimension, dictated by the 2D and 3D, is similar to 4D or time-based art. So, I am defining this fourth dimension as the dress body being able to change the spaces we walk in. Thornquist defines public spaces being made up by the person and the built environment. In an experiment, he shows how a singular pink shirt opposed to a sea of people in office attire can change the aesthetic of and how a public space is perceived. He states, quote, dress bodies may be the starting point for designing public spaces, end quote. Clothes have material agency. So how do we harness the agency they have to a greater potential to dictate spaces? EC calls for a user-centered approach in the design process. This is where I introduce modular fashion. Technically designed clothes. The idea of modularity in clothing came to me while I was directing the University of Wisconsin Fashion Week, and I also grew up in Alaska, where I'm familiar with two garments that are designed more technically for outdoor activities, changes in weather, and being able to be modified depending on the activity. It has recently become popularized as an aesthetic called gorpcore by people more interested in the status and popularity than the usage of these garments. On the screen, I have a screenshot of the brand Reese Cooper, and then the video is a jacket that turns into a coat designed by Virgil Abloh. The fabric modification techniques are there and exist, but what if it was expanded so everyone can benefit, not just those people calling it gorpcore? If these garment modifications were under a new design approach of modularity to be expanded to all body sizes and frames, it would no longer be subjected to consumerism and capitalism. For example, the concept of the zipper on hiking pants to make them into shorts could be changed. The zipper could be moved into a different place so the pants can be modified to fit any waist. I am here to change designers' thinking processes. Now, does modular fashion really fit in with spatial justice? I have shown the ability for dress bodies to flip the hierarchy and impact built environments. And in order to allow anybody to do this, modular fashion fully allows bodies to become mobile spaces by being self-designed and self-dressed every day. Here I use Spatializing Justice, Building Blocks by Teddy Cruz and Fauna Foreman to further prove modularity as the prime method. In the manifesto, these are the 3 steps in the framework to advocate for new ways to counter spatial injustices. Therefore, if I am also advocating for spatial justices, theoretically, modular fashion should fit in these steps. So here are the steps under my application. 1, the lack of responsiveness of built spaces to diverse bodies and identities. 2, untapped potential in technically designed clothing, which is a resulting failure due to capitalism, consumerism, status, and an aesthetic. 3, the pattern making of clothing should have a modular approach. The proof further justifies the dress body can be a mobile space, and there is opportunity to use it for rearranging the, quote, urban spatial hierarchies to support inclusion, end quote, with modular fashion. What does modular fashion allow for that other methods and trends don't? First, it's more sustainable than brands with inclusive size ranges, which can lead to overproduction. Modular fashion would decrease overproduction while still being inclusive in the sizing. I see modular fashion with 2 approaches. 1, fitting many bodies at one point in time, or 2, fitting one body with an infinite amount of time, for example, over a lifespan or over a timeline. Additionally, by having minimal garments needed, this would increase the user's emotional durability or attachment to it, therefore decreasing throwaway consumerism, as written by Jonathan Chapman from Carnegie Mellon. Second, wearable technology has become popular and seems like an easy solution to making clothes fit anybody. Although it would come with problems with accessibility due to electricity and cost. And it jeopardizes it being user-focused. With technology, the wearer would become a third party. Future directions. There are many different ways this topic can be further explored and expanded. I'm looking forward to continuing this research at a graduate program where I would be able to make physical pieces and prototypes. Some important directions I would like to point out are disability fashion, clothing biosensory engineering, and sustainable business and brand building. Conclusion. Privileged identities have been building environments that include and exclude different identities. Therefore, in order to decolonize it, there needs to be a reversal in the relationship between dress bodies and the built environment. When wearers are aware of the material agency their clothes have, the dress body becomes a mobile space. Therefore, modularity offers a method for wearers to become the everyday designer of their mobile space. This gives bodies of all shapes and identities decolonizing power while simultaneously offering a new sustainable method in fashion design. Here are some of my references used in the presentation and in my research paper. And lastly, thank you for listening to my presentation. Please feel free to send feedback and connect with me at the email listed on the screen. Thank you.